Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and this is 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. It is day 7 and Karen Leahy created this sketch. It is so fun. I am so excited. We have 31, yes, I know I said 30 Days of Sketches, 31 exclusive sketches. So today, this one horizontal picture of my mom and us celebrating or being together on her and my dad's anniversary, the August after my dad passed in April. And I am going to use Obed Marshall's Especial. And I haven't pulled this out in a little while because I've been busy trying to use up some other stash, and I have way too much of this stash to be using it right up. So I've been trying to use some of my smaller kits, but I am trying not to repeat any of my collections, minus one little boo-boo. And so I'm hoping to use a little bit of all of my stash. So I have this cut apart because I'm hoping to use that in these little spaces here. And I pulled 3 different papers from this collection so that I could do all the different layers. So I've got my papers, all these embellishments, my picture, and this awesome sketch. So let's see how this goes. So this is what I decided would be my background paper, and I wanted to bring in a darker color to really stand out on this paper because it's a busy paper. Every paper I'm using is a pattern paper. So the color I used was Uncharted Mariner from, I almost said Obed Marshall, Tim Holtz. It's a Distress Oxide, and I set it aside so it would dry all the way. And now I am cutting my picture mat. And everything I use from this is from this collection except obviously the ink. And I gave it a fat mat. It's not a full 4.5 by 6.5. It's like 4, just shy of that. So I wanted it to have a fatter mat around it like it does in the sketch, but not necessarily over the top. So I think I cut that floral paper to about a 5, just shy of 5 inches, or maybe right at 5 inches, and then just over 3 inches for that camera paper. And now I am just cutting these tags out from this cut apart because that's what I'm wanting to use for that cool little the banners that she has on her sketch below the picture, as well as the little banners sticking out over on the right top corner. So I am making a fishtail banner out of this tag because I thought this would be a good pop of color off of that pink that I'm using as my background. And then I cut this yellow one, but the yellow is going to blend too much with that other one, so I will come in and grab something different later. So I'm writing the date down, which makes me giggle because of all the dates that I, pictures that I scrapbook and forget, what I am, what date it is. My mother's anniversary is not one of them. So, but that's okay. I wrote it down and it's on the little post-it note. So just in case I forgot, but I did not have to refer to that this time. So I'm just going to build my layers right now while the paper, the background paper is drying. And I'm actually using my measuring on my mat, which is impressive because I don't do that very often. And I wish I would have made this a little bit longer. You can see the cameras on this background paper. Not as well, but that's okay. I'm going to bring them in with that tag as well as some other little embellishments. So I try and get this down first. And luckily this tape I use is repositionable because then I put the tag under here and I don't like that. It's not going to work. The word smile is going to get cut off. So then I decided to cut it off and I'm going to put the tag down here with just the camera. But then that is also too low and it's going to stick out. And I don't notice it at first. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with these other tags. So then I realized that it's not going to work for me. And I luckily can pull this off. And then I put this down to where I know it's going to fit and not go off the end. But then I put the paper down with the picture on it, and go to tuck this smile part of the tag up here. And in order to have that the word smile fully visible, the tag goes all the way to the top of the page. Well, I didn't want that. I like, I like the gap and the space, so I fiddle with it and I get it down there, but then it's just not going to work, so I have to have it flat. And I was frustrated, but I was just going to work with it until I'm looking at it and I remember how easy it is to pull this stuff up after, if you don't go wait too long. So I move the tag down to where I want it and then reposition the picture and stuff. So it's really not rocket science, Kristen. Just take the picture off and adjust it, goofball. Oh dear. Anyway, so I am much happier now that there's that gap at the top, gap at the bottom. And so I pull out the ephemera and I just start tucking, and I cut them in half and stick them down here. That way it is an even amount of florals. I've got a pink flower with a blue on the top left, and then I'm going to have a pink flower with the blue on the bottom right. Then that just gives me that even, the evenness that I'm wanting. And I know that kind of disappears on the page, and I'm okay with that. It's really just kind of an extra something. So I did the same thing with that gold flower. I tuck it back there, and really it's just that pop of gold that I want. And I really want to use this little tag here for the little embellishment piece that's up here in the top right corner. Of course, it's on the bottom right now. And so I pull out my ephemera because I cut all those tags, and I want to find something I can use for the second one because I do love the look of that round embellishment and the two little tags coming out. So I pull this alarm clock out, and I am certain that most of you were thinking, what in the world? I guess I could say things like, it's time to celebrate, but I don't. I cut that off because it's a perfectly lovely circle that I can use for journaling. And so I can put that in there where the circle embellishment is. I can get my journaling on there, even though on the sketch it's underneath. With all that pattern paper, that would definitely be hard to do. So I am going to use this, and then I'm going to put these little banners next to that and have those coming out. And I like how it's comes off the page and looks a little cut off in the sketch. So I do that. And so I'm just trying to get these where I want them so they're not the same coming out like they come out. One is a little further over. And so I get those down and I cut the little piece off, and now I pull out my sticker sheet, and I'm happy because I get to use some things. I will pull these things out and then I either forget I have something or I just can't find a way to work something into the layout. I just need to be a little bit less, I've been doing things like putting a bicycle on a layout that has nothing to do with a bicycle. And I need to get out of my head is what I need to do. So in her sketch, she's got this neat little, almost like arrows down here on the bottom right. And I'm not going to do that because there's not really anything that's going to work in that same, thing. So I want to put a cluster of things down here and actually decide that I'm going to put my title down here. So I'm going to do it by using 3 different phrases or word phrases and embellishments to make it. So this word capture is a shiny gold, which you can kind of tell. And it is from the puffy stickers, the thicker puffies. And then I put this happy together, and that is from the sticker sheet, and I mat it on blue so it stands out. And then I use this every day, which is from the Puffy Thickers. And so it says capture happy together every day. And I felt like this was a rough year, which I've said a lot. And, it's hard to go through the firsts. So this was, like I said, their anniversary would have been their 52nd. And so we knew that my mom shouldn't be alone that day. So we all went out to Red Robin and had dinner together and just had a good old time. The kids helped us laugh and giggle, and you can see that we all have smiles on our faces. So it was a good day. So I add that camera because that kind of brings the whole capture together. I mean, I know there's already a camera on there and the word smile, but I think that you can put a camera on any layout because it is scrapbooking. You're scrapbooking pictures. So I use the enamel dots and get our shapes really and get those in some different places. And then I pull out my white linen shimmer spray by Diane Reevely. And I love these shimmers because they are, well, they're shiny. And I add that white because I love that extra little pop of, and that brings it together. Now, should I have done my journaling before I splattered? Yep. So I write the date that I didn't forget in this gold jelly roll on the little banner, which is why I use that one. And then I use the little round space just to journal that it was my mom and dad's 52nd anniversary. And we definitely did not want them to, or her, to be alone and, spend the day by herself. So I do write down here on this little thing, it just says Red Robin. And even in that little red thing, I write the word yum because of the commercial. And here is the sketch. It is such a good sketch. There are so many things you can do with this, and if you turn it because you need a vertical, it's still going to look like a really cool sketch. So I will probably be using this in the future because there's a lot of times I have just one picture I want to document. So, and I did put that Fiesta sticker on there. The enamel that with the or the thicker acrylic that I had out that I was determined to use was not going to work. So I used that little sticker instead and added some little bits of this and that in different places. So there it is. So I hope you all will go check out everybody else on the playlist who is playing along with our D-Days of Sketches. I will be back again tomorrow for day 8, and I hope you will join me. Have a great day and happy scrapping.